Alright, so for this first video, I just want to review the rules for adding integers. So remember that an integer is a signed number. So an integer could be the number -4, but it could also be the number +6. So integers are just numbers that have either a positive or a negative sign out in front. If you have a number, for example, the number 7, and there is no sign in front of the number, it is understood that that number is positive. All right, so let's do this. Suppose you have -4 plus 8. Let's just start very simple. Well, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to circle each term. And when I say circle the term, remember that a term is the number as well as the sign in front of it. So they're all going to get circled, the number and the sign in front of it. So then I want you to look at this. Do these two numbers, or do these two terms, have the same sign? Well, this first term is negative. This second term is positive. So they do not have the same sign. They have different signs. And whenever we add or subtract integers, if the two numbers have different signs, then we subtract. So really, this becomes the problem 8 minus 4. Well, 8 minus 4 equals 4, and then we want to keep the sign of the larger number. So keep the sign of the bigger number, and the bigger number is 8. And 8 is positive, so my final answer is +4. So I'm going to do another one just like this, very similar to this anyway, and I'm going to walk through those steps again. So how about -3 plus 9? So again, I have a -3 and a +9. Are the signs the same or are they different? Well, the signs are different. And I know that if the signs are different, that means I'm going to subtract. So I really have 9 take away 3, which equals 6. And then I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number. And the bigger number happens to be a +9. So my final answer is +6. Let's do another one. What about -4 minus 8? So here, again, same idea. I'm going to circle the two terms. I have a -4 and a -8. Notice here, both of my terms happen to be negative. That means that both of my terms have the same sign. When you add integers that have the same sign, the rule is to just add and keep. So we're going to add these two numbers together, and we're going to keep the sign. So what is 8 plus 4? Well, 8 plus 4 is 12, and I'm going to keep the sign, which is negative. So my answer is -12. Let's do another one. What about -6 minus 5? Are the signs the same or are they different? Well, the signs are the same. And so the rule is if the signs are the same, we add and keep. So I'm going to add the two numbers together. 6 and 5 is 11. Keep the sign negative. So my final answer is negative 11. All right, let's do a couple of examples that are tricky. This first example that I want to do for is the problem negative 4 minus a negative 5. Now I want you to notice when I circle my terms, I have a negative 4 and I have a negative 5. Because remember, the sign in front of the number is part of the term. So this negative 5, this has two signs in front of it. It has a negative, which you could call a minus, and then another negative. Well, there's something very special when you have two negatives that are in a row. What happens when you have two negatives in a row? Two negatives in a row turn into a plus sign. So here's how I do that, just to make it make sense. I just turn this into a giant plus sign. So now I want you to look at your problem. Again, look at your terms. So you have a negative, and now you have a positive. So is this the same signs, add and keep, or are the signs different? Well, the signs are in fact different. So different signs, subtract. 5 take away 4 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger number. So my final answer is positive 1. All right, let's do another example. What about negative 4 plus 7 minus a negative 3? So same concept. I'm going to circle each term. So I have a negative 4, I have a positive 7, and I have a minus a negative. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this minus a negative by turning it into a giant plus. And then I'm going to look at two terms at a time. So I have a negative 4 and I have a positive 7. Are the signs the same or are they different? The signs are different. So when the signs are different, we subtract. 7 take away 4 is 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Tell me which number is bigger, the negative 4 or the positive 7. And we're just looking at the absolute value, just the number. 7 is larger and it is positive. So I really have a positive 3, and then I bring down my next term and a positive 3. Are the signs the same or are they different? Well, the signs are the same, and if they're the same, we just add and keep. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So my final answer is positive 6. So I just want to write the rules down for you. And it actually goes to, it's a song that you can hopefully remember, to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So it's same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. So same signs, we add, that means add the two numbers together, and keep the sign. Different signs, if the signs are different, we subtract. So different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. So keep the sign of the bigger number. So that is the rule for adding integers. And really, I say it's adding integers, not subtracting, because we're always adding. It's always an addition problem. We circle the two terms and identify them. So I wanted to give you one more example. Our last example. So how about negative 3 plus 5 minus 11? So I'm going to circle my terms. I have a negative 3, a positive 5, and a negative 11. I'm going to focus on these two terms first. Well, this is negative, and this is positive. So I know it's a subtraction problem because the signs are different. So 5 minus 3 is actually 2. Keep the sign of the larger number. 5 is larger, and it's a positive. So now I have a positive 2, and I'm going to bring down this other term, a negative 11. Are the signs the same or are they different? The signs are different, so it's going to be a subtraction problem again. 11 minus 2. Well, 11 take away 2 equals 7, but I need to remember to keep the sign of the bigger number. The larger number is 11, and it is negative. So my final answer is negative 7. Okay, good luck.